right now. Well, thank you for joining Pastor's Corner. This is the October edition. Monthly, we come to you and we just focus on a topic for every month, addressing some of the things that we're asked as pastors and things that are going on in our world today. And obviously, Pastor Aaron, and as we were talking about what we wanted to do for this month, there's a lot of things to be unhappy with right now. A lot of things to get us down right now, whether it's COVID, the economy, racial tension, political divisiveness, uncertainty, all those things. For church life, there's things. For school life, there's things. For family life, there's things. What we wanted to talk about today is what are some things we are excited about. We wanted to share with you. I think the number arbitrarily we threw out there is 5, but it could be less than that. It could be more than that. We're just throwing out a number there. Things we are excited about right now. Instead of focusing more on the things that are getting everybody down, which is everywhere, let's talk about the things that have us excited right now, whether it's in the present or for the future. Anybody can point out all the things that are going wrong right now. That's easy, but we want to focus on what has us excited, what has us looking forward, what has us changing the outlook of what's happening right now in ways that we could be upset, but we decided to be optimistic in our outlook.
Yeah. You want me to share what's got me excited then?
Sure. Why don't you jump up first? I have some list of things that got me excited, and I just wanted to hear, I'm sure they want to hear from you too, of how are you excited?
Yeah. Man, I think so when we had talked about this topic, you had shared with me, that you had made a list, and
yeah,
I think that just before I even share that my things that I am excited about, just that I was surprised, PJ, that just how honestly good it was for my soul to write down and go through the practice of that.
Yes.
And I don't know if you had that same feeling, but I'm just like, okay, I'm sitting there, and it made me think okay, because I didn't have random things to go right away, I got this and I got this, and I'm like, what am I excited about? What is what is something I should be excited about that I'm not even recognizing right now?
Yeah.
And so just doing that list, making a list was really good. So I encourage everyone who's watching, man, if you're down or if there's something going on, maybe you're focused on something that's wrong, or you're trying to figure out what to be happy about, right? Go make a list of just 5 things right now you're excited about, 5 things you're thankful for, 5 things or whatever. And you gave me this idea. I think being able to categorize them is important. That's kind of how your and I's minds work anyway. But being able to go so I have a church list and a personal list and a family list, things like that. And so just being able to, that can help maybe even help us with our our beability. So I just think that's a wise thing to do, just in general. And so I just wanted to give you a shout out to that, because I think it's awesome. So as I'm going to tell you some of the things that I'm excited about, everybody watching, put in the comments what you're excited about. I'd love to know. I'd love to see and hear what you're excited about right now. What has got you excited? Not what's got you freaked out or anxiety. What's got you excited? And so I will just kind of read. I'm going to go down my list a little bit. I made a list earlier today. And the first thing that I'm excited about is kind of in my personal world. This might sound silly. Now, this is me 100%, but I'm excited for Christmas and Thanksgiving. I love holidays and I love people. And so to me, just the ability for us to kind of get together and hang out. And it's unique because your family is not extended. Your extended family is not here in San Antonio. Mine just moved here and they weren't here for a while, but we kind of created a tradition where you and your family come over to my house and we kind of do Thanksgiving together.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited for those days because we work real hard, but I want to say that we try to play hard as well and try to enjoy life. And so I just love the holiday season. And honestly, it's been such a crappy, crazy year. I'm looking forward to some just shift and change, So that's one thing I'm excited about right now. It's just the holidays coming up. So
It's good.
Let's see what else. Oh, okay. So I wrote this down. This is kind of this is a little different, but I'm excited for the new iPhone 12 coming out. Again, I'm just being, I just want to write down. I just kind of like, God, what's got me jazzed, amped up. So I got I pre-ordered the new iPhone. Pastor Jason, I made the rookie mistake. I already texted you that day. You know about this. I was so mad at myself, but I pre-ordered it on Friday. I was up early with all the crazy dudes, and I set it to where I have to go pick it up now at the Apple store. I always have it shipped to me, but for some reason I was delirious that morning, and I said I'm going to go pick it up rather than have it shipped to me. So I will be standing in line picking up an iPhone Friday morning. Rookie mistake.
It happens. It happens.
You're smarter than I am. You had to ship it to yourself. That's what you said.
Well, I don't say I'm smarter. Mine is getting shipped to me though, but it might take longer. You might get yours before me. Who knows?
What color did you get?
The blue one.
I did too. I got the Pacific blue. Did you get the Pro or did you get the 12?
I got the Pro. Yeah, I didn't get the Pro Max. That was just too much for me. Just too much.
I'm excited. I'm real excited to
it's
get
just
it.
too big.
But I'm excited about that. If you're getting the new phone, somebody say yes.
Yeah.
Let's see. I got here's a new thing that just happened. So we just had Pastor Todd and Tara Lee in from out of town, and they got to preach this last weekend at our church. And of course, known him since I was 18. And so almost 2 decades. It's great man of God. So we had a lot of fun with them coming in town. But we actually have some friends coming into town. Doesn't really have anything to do with the church. I'm preaching this weekend. It's all good. But they're coming in and just hanging with us, friends that we know, that we did life together. And so I'm excited for them to come into town. And they're coming in today. And we had to spend some time, show them some San Antonio, but just really love on them and be a part of
That's good.
just be a part of our lives. And so I know you love them. We're going to spend some time together. So I'm excited for some new friends coming into town right now. That's what I'm excited for. That's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
My next one was new kids. My kids' baseball games.
Mm-hmm.
We had for a season, I think probably for 2 years, we kind of put a stop on all of our sports for kids because we were planting the church and we just didn't want to add any more to our plate. We don't subscribe to the hey, we got to make sure our kids are all into everything all the time and we're valets for them. We do things real systematic. And so we have 5 young boys. Honestly, all of them at this point can all be in sports. So what we're doing right now is we are taking 2 kids. We feel like we could do 2 kids. Taking 2 kids and do sports this semester. Next semester, we're going to do another 2 kids. They can do sports. And right now we got Titus and Judah in baseball. And so it's honestly been a lot of fun. And I'm going to be telling a story about me helping coach my son Titus's baseball game this weekend. And it's going to be a little crazy. So you all are not going to want to miss it this weekend when I preach. And so, but I'm excited about that. It's kind of given me the ability to take my mind off of things, have something to build and grow and be a part of, but then also just to kind of be a part. So, by the way, if you're watching this, like and share on your feed so we can kind of build our audience a little bit. It kind of helps the conversation go a little bit.
Absolutely. So we have so far, Althea says she's excited that her kids and her are healthy. Obviously, that is a huge one for all of us to be excited about right now. Not just physical health, but dropped my iPhone. Good thing I'm getting a new one. But mental health right now is obviously something to be thankful for. I know going through this time, a lot of people are not okay. They're not okay. Though we all love to say we're okay, we're fine. It's not always the truth for most of us, if we're being honest, that we're not okay. And I think, that's okay.
You know what's weird about that? You know what's weird about the social stigma of mental health, mental illness, and struggling with depression and anxiety? And if you go back and look at the scriptures, most of the Bible writers had some level of that going on in their life. If you know anything about
Yeah.
If you know anything about their life, they struggled with it. Look at Psalms. Look at the
Mm-hmm.
way Psalms were written.
Mm-hmm.
Look at some of these. Lamentations. Come on, the idea of Lamentations.
Yeah, Jeremiah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Jeremiah. Some of the major prophets were talking about some of the things that people had to go through. Most people know Job's story, but I think sometimes we read these things in the context of, like, because they're holy scriptures, we think that they were always holy people. And I think the authors were obviously an instrument of God to write scriptures, but they were going through some very human and real moments. And I think the stigma of a mental illness, the stigma of mental health issues that people have is wrong. It's just wrong. And it's inaccurate to say that if you love God, you're not going to have mental problems or go through some stuff that you're going to have to really fight through. That's just not true. And so I think for us to be honest and positive about it, get out. What you're saying is, like, let's be honest with each other. Let's be vulnerable with each other. Let's be okay that we're not okay. We just don't want to stay here. And we want to God wants you to get better. God wants to be with you in the fire. I like that. Like, he doesn't always deliver us from the fire.
Yeah.
Somebody, he's with us in the fire. He's there. He's present. I just was reading something about that. I was reading one of the Barna books I just bought, which is it's like, Barna is a research group, and they were talking about that. They were interviewing a counselor on it for pastors, and he was just saying, he goes, it's just the stigma that it somehow still carries is just not accurate. And God can do some amazing things for us if we first admit, confess our issues, and then work through them together.
So good.
I have another list too. I have a church list.
Church list. All right, let's hear your church list.
Things I'm excited for church. Man, I am super excited for our vision series coming up, because we get to finally talk about what God's going to do in this next year, but also what God's doing and really how God, I think, is positioned us in San Antonio to do something unique. And it's not better, it's not worse, it's just different. It's just unique, something that God wants to do here through us at this church. And I know you and I, Pastor Jason, you're an elder at this church. You obviously walk through many things, not just on staff, but you're really you're part of our spiritual council here, and just you see God regularly for what's our next step as a church body and corporately. And just we've been able to talk through vision and what God's got for our future. And I really think we've been able to prepare this year an incredible vision. And again, I'm not creating the vision. I'm curating the vision in pieces that can be digested for our church. And that's what I get to do. I'm going to set the table this weekend. This next 4 weeks, we're going to set the table of what, God has given us as a church to do in this next year. And I think it's going to be amazing.
So good. I'm excited about that too.
So it's going to be good this year. I'm telling you, and I'm telling all of our church, do not miss it. Don't miss one part of it. It's going to be, every week every week builds on each other. You want to be a part of them. They're going to be good. So I'm excited for the new year. I think that's going to be fun for the church, just a fresh start. I mean, I'm ready for 2020 to be over. I felt like, all right, this is it. Ready for new year. I'm excited for our Christmas Eve services this year. I think they're going to be fun, and I love Christmas. And I know we talked about it, and you and I are, we as a staff have been walking through already what hopefully we can see what it's going to look like and have fun. And everybody loves it every year. Just our ability to do Christmas Eve well is going to be awesome. I'm excited for our outreach and mission partners that we have, for both locally and worldwide. And I know that we're going to share some vision to that this year in our vision series about what we want to do in the future with our partners. But man, I just love that this last week we talked about Ransom Life and what they do locally here for people who are exploited sexually, kids that are exploited sexually here, and just everything from sex trafficking to their abuse and just what they're doing. And I didn't our church, I didn't start an organization for that. That wasn't my particular calling in the world, but I believe the church has to plays a part in partnering with those who do. And we want to be a part of that. So just some of those things. Those are things really, they get me all jazzed up about just being in church. Like how many organizations, how many thousands of people we could reach because we're a church organization, that we are growing and we're able to financially support them, not just put spiritual support. So
that's good. That's good, Pastor. I think that's some great things.
Those are some of the things that I'm excited about.
Well, I'll give you my personal list, and I see we've got a couple others, people who shared some things they're excited about. Althea is also excited about hearing about the vision for Rise Church, which we talked about. Louise is saying excited to be a grandparent. Ollie's over there in England. He's excited to become part of a new church family. He said it's no Rise, but they're sitting around the table and listening over there, I'm sure, in quarantine. Again, and you heard y'all's numbers are going up over there, so hopefully that's not gone too crazy for y'all.
And I miss the Dodgers.
Yes, definitely. Few of my personal, this year is my wife and I's 25th anniversary. So we're excited to celebrate that in whatever way that looks like. Because of COVID, we're excited about it regardless.
When is your anniversary?
It's June. It's the end of June. Maybe 25 years. So we're planning on a trip, but we don't know if that's going to happen or not. We will see.
Well, give us the best piece of advice, single piece of advice in 25 years you've learned.
I think generally, the message that I think in marriage for me is like to die to self, to live to Christ. To treat that how I treat my wife is how I treat Christ. And the mark of Christ is the mark of the cross. And so marriage is about dying to self and living to the other person. It doesn't mean that you never get your needs met, but that's if it's just one quick piece of advice, I'd say that make the cross the center of your marriage and die to yourself. So I think that's good advice.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Every time I talk to somebody who's been married for any length of time, it's pretty clear to me that I do think it's a little bit of how it was designed.
Yeah.
And I think there's I'm going to talk about that in our February series for marriage, but I do think there's a little bit of that, you're going into marriage to fulfill all your needs. You've already lost. You're already on the back. You're already a step behind because that's not what it's for. And so I think that's good, PJ.
I think on my professional list, that brings up, I'm excited about kind of some clarity that we have for our strategy, or the things that we're talking about for our strategy for marriage ministry at Rise, or just marriage strategy, not necessarily ministry. Everything we do is all part of ministry, but like some strategies that we're talking, that's one of the exciting, kind of professional or church things that we're excited about, that marriage ministry piece. So,
yeah. I love it. You're developing that right now, and I love it. I think it's great.
Other personal things, I'm excited. In a couple weeks, I will be getting some training for my Enneagram training. So to be able to administer, coach, and the Enneagram personality test. So I'll be able to do that for our church, for people in our church, businesses, other churches that I help out and do things with. So I'm excited about that. Finally going through that. I was supposed to do it in April, but then COVID happened. So, got pushed off. So and I'm doing it online. I am excited about that. I don't have to go travel and stay somewhere for a week. I get to stay at home for 2 weeks and talk about that. So,
yeah. Man, I can't wait. That'll be helpful for our church.
Absolutely. I think I'm running another marathon in a couple weeks. So 3 weeks, I'll be running my second marathon. I am excited about that because pushing some times there, and that's a fun thing. And then my last kind of personal thing is I'm excited. I'm doing some stuff with my own personal website, coaching, and my own podcast, which, hello, podcast listeners. I do put this up on my podcast also. So I've been working on the Equipped Pastor podcast, and I'm excited about some things there. So that's kind of my personal list right now. I'm hoping to put some stuff about my kids on there, but it's been a battle. So I'm believing that there's going to be a one battle with some things with my kids. So by faith, I'm going to put that as the number 5 thing. So
yeah, no, that's good. And that's good.
And so we mentioned church stuff. You mentioned church stuff, Pastor Aaron. I think, there's so much to be excited about. You talked about the vision. I think, some steps, tweaks that we're talking about with our steps process, between next steps and lead steps, which is our process for helping people to become leaders and leaders of groups and leaders of ministries, working on faith steps. I'm excited about that, which is our hoping by the end of 2021, we'll be able to have a whole system of developing you in your faith and learning some faith disciplines for maybe people who are early in their faith, and maybe even just those who just want to take their next step in faith, which we all need to. Like I said, we mentioned marriage ministry. We have some great changes and tweaks and some things coming with our prayer focus at our church and prayer ministry. And so obviously we're going to start off the year with 21 days of prayer and just offering some more opportunities to pray, including maybe a culmination of our 21 days of prayer with just a big prayer, church-wide prayer worship service, which we're really excited about. So
yeah, we got some great things planned coming up for everybody in the new year. We're not stopping. We're not slowing down. We're ramping up. And so I think God's got a great vision for not just our church, but the local church. There's a place in this world right now that the local church should be filling and that we can fill. And I'm excited to be a part of it. And
absolutely,
some people are saying like, man, this must be the hardest time to lead. It is the hardest time to lead, but I don't know of a greater need for leadership. I don't know of a greater need right now than this season, where people need some people to be steady, consistent, and strong. That's what my pastor always tells me: steady, consistent, and strong. And I think that'll lead to some great leadership, in the future. And so it's going to be good. It's going to be really, really good.
Absolutely. And then I think my last one is I'm excited about some things we have coming up in youth ministry, some little tweaks and some little add-ons that we're adding for youth ministry that I'm super excited about being able to help lead and coach that team. So,
yeah, and I'm an old youth pastor, and I was for a decade. I know you've been in youth ministry and family ministry. We have a passion for it here. It's not been, what we had thought it would be. Start of youth ministry. A lot of times it's just, hey, there's so many things going on. We have a great couple that's leading it right now, taking some steps, and that's what we're going to do. But I know, man, their future for that place is going to be just killer. So I'm excited for our teams, because it could be a better time, because I got 2 12-year-olds, they're almost 13, that are in our youth group, and they need some something.
Amen. So I think as we wrap this up, Pastor, we're coming towards the end of our time here. It's a couple of other people. Sandy's excited about her grandson, talking to her for about 15 minutes about a new venture, excited to see her granddaughter in the band. Here's our challenge to you is create some buckets, like what we've done here, a personal bucket, maybe it's a spiritual bucket. If you're married, create a marriage bucket, family bucket, whatever, professional. If you're working still, create some buckets of some things that you're excited about. They don't necessarily have to be goals, but what reason do you? I love what you're saying, Pastor. We're going to take an inventory of our life. Obviously, next month is November. We're coming right up on November already. What happened here? And we talk a lot about Thanksgiving and giving thanks and gratitude. But before we even get to gratitude for things that we have, but what could we be excited about? What are we excited about that's coming up, that's happening right now? We would love to just encourage you to take the time. write out those lists, whether you're watching this live right now or you're back on YouTube or on my podcast, wherever you're hearing this at. We encourage you, take some time, write out some buckets of your life and just write down a few things, 5 things. What do you have reason to be excited about? And I think that can change your perspective. That change of focus changes your perspective, changes your outlook, can change even your mental health in this time.
Yeah, it's true. Little things.
All right. Well, Pastor, you have any closing wisdom for us as we wrap up here?
Man, just be here this weekend. It's going to be awesome. Vision. It's going to be it's my favorite time of year, so I'm excited.
Well, we're so glad you guys joined us today. And for, again, our challenges out there, build your buckets, fill them up with the things you're excited about. And we're excited about a lot of the things that are coming up at Rise Church. We will see you this weekend to talk through some things we're excited about. Pastor Aaron will be sharing with you things we see, the reasons we're here, some of the focuses that we have as we're moving forward. And despite what happens in our world, despite what happens with the vaccine or not a vaccine, or what the outcome of the election is, we have vision for what God has given us to do, and we're pushing forward with that, and we're excited about what He has called us to do in this season. So thank you for joining us for another Pastor's Corner, and we hope to see you again. We'll be back again next month for another edition, and so thank you guys, and have a great day.